Today's very special episode of the BS Podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network. Brought to you, as always, by ZipRecruiter. You don't need a high hiring IQ to put Denzel Washington in your movie. He's a bankable A-list movie star. He's coming up on this podcast in a second. But if you're looking for hiring in a normal way, try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology scans thousands of resumes to find people with the right experience for your job. My listeners can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/BS. 80% of employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. We're also brought to you by our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, who are excited to introduce their all-new Rate Shield approval. If you're in the market to buy a home, Rate Shield approval, a real game changer. Here's why. First, Quicken Loans will lock your rate up for 90 days while you shop. The crucial part, if rates go up, your rate stays the same. If rates go down, your rate also drops. Either way, you win. It's the kind of thinking you'd expect from America's largest mortgage lender. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Bill Simmons. We're also brought to you by TheRinger.com, where it is mid-July, which is really when we hit our stride. There's nothing to write about. There's nothing going on. Just baseball. Guess what? People don't really care about baseball that much. Great. Well, we have Brian Curtis writing about the end of the LA Times Sports Desk. We have the battle for the best movie trailer since 1990. Chris Ryan wrote this one. You can go. There's a bracket. You can do your picks. I think The Social Network is the best trailer probably of the last 40 years. But that's just me. Jabari Parker's Homecoming. Kevin O'Connor wrote about that. Michael Bauman wrote about Manny Machado. Where's he going? One of the few great baseball stories right now. Who's trading for him? I hope he stays in the American League because he's on my League of Dorks team. Allison Herman wrote about Sacha Baron Cohen's Who is America show, which I thought was pretty uneven, but the last segment was unbelievable and must-watch television. And then Ryan O'Hanlon wrote about the 6 takeaways from 2018's World Cup. Classic story from my end. I had planned to wake up and bet on France and Mbappe scoring a goal and thought the game started at 11 and was out late on Saturday night and woke up at about 9:10, which is late for me, and the game had already started. Classic. I'm terrible at gambling. Coming up, Denzel Washington, and then after Denzel, we are going to call my friend Nathan Hubbard to talk about the Yacht Rock concert that I went to on Saturday night. That had to be seen to be believed. We taped Denzel on Friday at the Four Seasons. He was doing a junket for Equalizer 2, but we were able to get a solid 40-plus minutes with him. He does not do a lot of sit-downs. Really, really fun. Really, really, obviously a bucket list situation for me. Now I have to redo my bucket list. Denzel was at the top. I got to get Hanks. I got to get Nicholson. I don't think Nicholson's very realistic. Stevie Nicks, if you're listening, you're on the bucket list. I'm ready for you. Billy Joel, another one. I like people who have had great careers and are willing to go back and talk about some of the stuff. There's really no athlete on my bucket list. There's a couple coaches. But if you have any bucket list ideas for me, and don't send me like stupid ones, send me like the real ones. Send me the OGs, the ones that you can't believe I haven't had yet on the BS podcast. Email me at themailbag@theringer.com. We have had an incredible run here, and we have zipped through a lot of people. Denzel was way, way up there. And in particular, there was one question I wanted to ask him, which you'll hear during this pod, about a sports movie that he made that I've been obsessed with, whatever the real answer was, and he gave it to us, and it's phenomenal. Denzel coming up first. Pearl Jam. All right, Denzel Washington is here. We're taping this on a Friday. This is a bucket list episode for me, even though he's a Yankee fan and a Laker fan. But I feel like we get along anyway.
And you were what?
I'm all Boston. Yeah,
So
we're natural enemies.
I'm sorry. Can you count to 27?
I can.
I'm just asking.
Can you count to 17 Celtics titles? Do you count the Minneapolis titles or no? Because the Laker fans I know count the Minneapolis titles, which I think is complete bullshit.
See, first of all, I'm from New York, so I count Knick titles, which is depressing.
I thought you were a Laker fan.
I'm from New York, so first I count Knick titles, but that's depressing of late.
There's only 2 Knick titles.
That's what I'm saying.
You don't have a lot to
That's what
count.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But you know, I've been out here a long time and through the Magic era and the Kobe era, and now we're at the what era are we at now? What would you
Well,
call
now
this?
I would call this the LeBron era.
The
I would call
LeBron
this the
era.
Here Comes LeBron era.
Who else do we need?
More,
What else do we need?
more good players.
Like what? Like where?
I thought Kawhi was coming. I just assumed it was both of them, and then came to realize LeBron just wanted to live in Los Angeles, and he doesn't. I think he's so confident now. It's probably like you when you get a movie and you're like, am I the only star in it? All right, I'll make it work. And I think LeBron's like that now. He's like, all right, we're a contender because I'm on the team. We'll figure out the rest later. Would be my takeaway. You're not with me?
Listen, I went to school in San Francisco,
Yeah,
and they got a lot of guys on that team up there.
they do. They have
And
4
if you
top
don't-
20
If
guys.
you don't have a lot of guys, you're not going to beat them.
He must know somebody else is coming.
That's what I'm talking about. What else is gonna what?
Well, who do you want to come? You still follow this stuff.
Well, obviously we need a on-ball defender.
You just used we. You are a Laker fan.
Yeah, I got Laker tickets.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
we're talking about the Lakers.
Yeah.
I've
But
had tickets
you
for-
said you were a Knicks fan.
I am.
Are you a sports bigamist?
I was a Knicks fan. I was a Dick Barnett fan.
So what happens if the Knicks
was
and
a-
Lakers play?
Butch, you ever heard of Butch Comives?
I've heard of everybody.
You heard of Butch Comives?
I wrote the book of basketball.
Okay.
You can't name a Knick I haven't heard of.
Oh, okay. What did Butch Comives used to average?
Well,
Don't lie.
he was probably in the teens.
You're close.
Yeah.
You're close.
Yeah.
Who was the sixth man on the championship Knicks team?
Which one?
73.
Was Jerry Lucas 6th man that year?
No, all right, keep
That's
going.
pretty good.
Or is it DeBuscher?
No, DeBuscher started.
It's Jerry
Yeah.
Lucas.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna test you no more. I'm gonna keep going.
I'm good. So those your first Knicks teams were in the late 60s?
I actually went, the first time I went to a Knick game was the Old Garden.
Oh.
Yeah, my mother's boyfriend, I think, took me. And they had posts in the Old Garden. And somehow we got the seats where that was.
Oh, the
Yeah.
Boston Garden had that too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you had to watch the game like this. I'm like, oh, I can't believe I'm in the garden.
Yeah.
In the you had to look around or something.
They call them obstructed view.
Obstructed
Yeah,
view.
they don't have those anymore.
And we saw Hal Greer.
Oh, you're going way back.
Yeah, the 76ers, right?
Yeah.
Hal Greer was playing on the 76. I think he shot a jump shot, foul shot.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
With a little bit to the left.
A little bit to the
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
That's right.
Did you get to see Russell?
No, never saw Russell. Nope.
Do you have an opinion on the whole greatest player ever thing? Because if you got to see Russell on TV, at least you're qualified. I never got to see Russell.
Yeah, I must have seen him on TV. Well, but the basketball wasn't that big then.
Right.
You'd see tape delayed games.
Yeah.
The playoff game, even the finals sometimes back in those days were tape delayed.
That's what I remember. My family had Celtics season tickets. And when they won in 1981, it was in Houston and the game was tape delayed. And I went to bed and my dad woke me up for the tape delay game and we tried to pretend we didn't know who won. Now it's like the internet era. You'd never be able to do that.
No.
How do you follow sports when you're on these movie sets? Do you have like all the devices? Do you have like league pass, all that stuff?
I'm not a big
You're
device
not that
guy, but-
crazy?
Nah, but I keep up with the standings, see what's out going on.
Michael Jordan or LeBron
For what?
for your personal pantheon?
The greatest player of all time?
Yeah. Because LeBron got
What's
some
the
momentum
criteria?
this year. For me, the criteria is Michael Jordan was the greatest player of all time. And I don't want to hear the other
Well,
arguments.
I put it this way. Here's something. Here's a monkey in the wrench.
Yeah.
LeBron never had. Who's LeBron's sidekick? I mean, who's Michael's?
Oh, Scotty.
LeBron never had a Scottie Pippen.
Right.
Scottie Pippen.
Well, he had Wade that 1.5 years.
LeBron James has never had a Scottie Pippen.
True.
Who was the best defender, could play
Yeah.
all 5 positions, guard anybody, and score 50, shut down anybody. No one else has had a co-star, if you will.
Maybe Kawhi will be that guy for him.
Yeah, he could be. I mean, he's got the potential. He's got the potential.
So how does your Lakers, do you have Lakers season tickets?
Yeah.
And what do you do with them? When you can't go, what
I
happens?
was at the game when Mikhail clothesline.
Oh, that's a holiday in my house.
What is it? Who'd he clothesline? Clothesline
Kurt Rambis.
Kurt Rambis.
He deserved it.
And that night, I signed up for season tickets.
Really?
I've had, what year was that? Is that
84.
86? 84. I've had
84
season
finals.
tickets. I've had season tickets ever since.
Really?
That night, I signed up. I'm like, oh, yeah.
The feud is on. When did you get to know Magic and all those guys?
I don't remember when I first met him, but, just over the years,
Yeah.
more and more over the years.
You played at Fordham, right?
Fordham Rams, yeah. PJ Carlissimo.
Shooting guard or point guard? What was your game like?
I was a great defender and very fast.
So
My
who's that
offensive
like?
game was sloppy.
Spotty shooter or you
By
couldn't
New
finish?
York City game.
Yeah.
You go to the cup, no jump shot. Screwball, Jamal Wills kind of shot. But I grew up in Mount Vernon, so I grew up in a great basketball town. You know, God rest his soul, Ray Williams was in my class. Gus Williams was a year ahead of me.
I still have that poster. The
Of
Williams
Ray?
brothers, Ray and Gus together.
Oh, I've
There's
never
a
seen that.
There's a
Is it
Nike
really?
Williams brothers poster. Yeah.
I've known
So you
them.
played against Ray Williams?
We all grew up in the boys' club together since age 4, 5, 6 years old. So I knew them since I was 5, 6, and we played biddy ball.
Was that just one of the things you were doing, or were you like, I'm using this to go to college?
No, I wasn't using it to go to. No, it was even before that. In my era, if you will,
Yeah.
the guys that I was coming up with at the club, like Gus, they were some of the first guys. Like Gus got a scholarship to USC. He came out here. We were like, wow, he's going out to college. Man, what's it like? What do they do? What do they eat out there? We'd never been out here. And one of the things that the director of the club used to do, which was great, he'd have you, if you went to college, he'd have you get one of the pendants, one of the flags from your college, and he put it in a hallway between the front door and the gym. So everybody who went to the gym, you had to walk through this sort of walk of fame, but you were like, oh, wow. What Gus is at USC. I wonder what they do out there. You get to thinking about it. So and so went to Long Beach State. What's that? What is Long? Wichita State. We had a kid. I forgot who. One of the kids went to Wichita State and played with Xavier McDaniel.
Yeah.
It was a kid from Mount Vernon and played at Wichita. So anyway.
So you're at Fordham. Are you starting?
No.
Coming off the bench.
The walk-ons. We would fill in on the JV team because they had scholarship players and maybe some of them weren't ready for the varsity. So they'd have some of them on the JV team or the freshman team, whatever they call it, JV team. And I was a walk-on and just made the team.
I really like Gus Williams' game.
Smooth.
I thought he was one of the most underrated 70s guys. He actually should have won the Finals MVP the year they won it.
That's correct.
He was like 27 a game or something. I used to love seeing him in person.
I still have the Sports Illustrated cover.
Yeah.
Gus on the cover.
It was a great era, the late 70s, because all the ABA guys came in.
That's right.
And there were all these good point guards, and they all were a little different than the old school point guards.
Right.
And you had like Kevin Porter and Gus Williams, all these, then Isaiah eventually, and Tiny. And,
right.
Archie.
What was his name? Archie
Clark?
Archie Clark.
Yeah.
Clark. Chicago, right?
Yeah, Chicago.
Oh, yeah, Archie Clark.
I've always wanted to ask you this. This is my number one question. Anytime I was like, if I could ever get Denzel on the podcast. So the He Got game, you against Ray Allen.
Mm-hmm.
He's supposed to beat you. The story I've heard was he was supposed to beat you like 11-0 or whatever the final score was. And they staged the game and you're playing it. You're ad-libbing the game basically. You're just playing it.
Right.
And you decided to score the first 4 points and Ray Allen didn't know that was going to happen. Is that story true or not true?
The whole time I told Ray I wasn't good with my left hand, which I wasn't.
Yeah.
All I was doing every night was practicing left hand. Every night, 2-3 hours. I'm like, oh man, I don't have it. I never let him see me practice.
Yeah.
So if you ever go back and see the movie again, first thing I do is start going left.
And he doesn't see that coming.
He doesn't see it coming, and I got lucky. Some shots started going in.
Yeah.
Then it got good to me. Now Now the New York's coming out of me. Now I'm bragging. I think I ran around.
You did.
By the
you
time
did a
I
lap.
ran around twice, I knew I was already done. I'm like, all right, I'm good. I could not have gone back to Mount Vernon if he beat me 11-0.
So he thought he was supposed to be you 11-0 and had no idea you were
And
gonna
I
do
let
this.
him think that he was going to beat me 11-0.
So you rope-a-doped him.
That's correct.
So after you made one of them and you do the lap, he actually gets pissed in real life, it seems like.
Watch it again, knowing what you know now, and the look on his face. he's starting to look around like, what? You know, he doesn't know. He hadn't made movies before, and
Yeah.
I'm not telling him.
Right.
I'm trying to win.
So you were actually, if you could have kept it going, you would actually try to
If
beat
I
him.
could have won the game, I would have.
Right. But then he scored
Then
the
he
rest
started
of them.
dunking, and things changed.
Yeah.
But we don't want to talk about that.
And what was it, like a 20-year age difference at that point, too? That probably wasn't open.
I don't know, how old is he
1997?
now? Yeah, and
Yeah, he was like a baby. He was like 21.
Yeah, so yeah, he's got to be 20 years different at least.
That's a really fascinating movie to rewatch. And I like it more. I really liked it when it came out. I thought it had a couple issues, but for the most part, I thought it was the only kind of movie like that. But now 20 years later,
Looks
I'm
old.
no, I'm so glad it exists.
Right.
It's really like the only one that really tried to tackle how effed up the whole system is. And
And it's sort of before AAU.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
A was just kind of
Was it
becoming
just
a thing, but
coming
not,
in then?
but not really
Yeah.
what it is now.
Yeah,
by
I
any
didn't
means.
remember hearing anybody talk about AAU or
Yeah.
any of that.
And it had people could go right to from high school to the pros,
Right to the
which was
pros, yeah.
hanging there. And also the money was, this was before they had the rookie scale. So within 3 years, you could be making $20 million a year.
Is that right?
And it's just all these people were coming out. It's a really interesting movie to rewatch. And he's, I think, one of the better actor basketball players. I mean, look, it's a motley list.
That's my comment.
Come on.
As opposed to who would be bad at
The other basketball players
All
who
the rest of
acted.
them?
Yeah. Dr. J and Fish at St. Pittsburgh.
You know who were there was like 2 or 3 guys I had to read with at the end, like a final callback. One was Tracy McGrady.
What?
I don't know if I read with. You got to ask Tracy if you see him, whether I met him or I looked at his tape. I just remembered he hadn't made any money yet,
Right.
So he had the suit on. I remember the suit being a little shiny, like it'd been ironed a lot.
Yeah.
Tracy McGrady was one of the kids that they were thinking about.
That's so funny you had that memory because I remember going to Celtics games the year he was a rookie and he was hurt. And he wore this suit on the bench, and it was like, oh, look how he's so cute. He doesn't have like real NBA money yet. Like he didn't know how to.
Probably the
He's
same
like
suit.
18. He's from South Carolina.
Right.
He'd been in the league for like 7 months. So who do you remember? Who else auditioned for that or no? Ray Allen, Tracy McGrady, Stephon Marbury.
I don't know if
Because that was Spike and him were friends.
Yeah, well, yeah, a bunch of them ended up playing. Steph, what was the guy who played for the Knicks? That was on the. I forgot some of the. They were
Allen Houston.
Allen Houston and a big guy. There was one of the bigger guys, like a power forward kind of size guy.
It had to be somebody younger, maybe
And
like
a couple
Charles.
of guys from Kentucky.
Oh, Walter McCarty.
McCarty.
Those guys are in the movie.
Yeah.
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 Do you ever go backwards and think about your old movies, or are you just like on to the next one?
On the next one. I don't look back.
What happens if you're flicking channels and they come on?
You
You don't pay. It's not like watching a whole movie.
I'm not gonna sit there and watch the rest of the movie. No.
You know, there's no like nostalgia that kicks in.
No.
Nothing.
Nah.
When did that shift? When did you like, I'm here, I belong. I'm just going to the next one.
when the first time I got the next job. That's when that shifted. You know, yeah, that's great, but I'm over here. You know. Yeah.
When you had St. Elsewhere, which is a big show for me, because
Boston, that's right. St. Eligius.
So The White Shadow is my favorite show of all time. And Bruce Paltrow, who created that show, did St. Elsewhere after, and it was set in Boston.
Right.
So needless to say, big hit in my house. But that was your first break, right?
No.
I mean, first like
television.
steady job break.
No, I had done a couple of movies.
You did Wilma, you did Carbon Copy.
Carbon Copy
Yeah.
and
some plays
and
and
a
stuff?
Soldier's Play. We won the Pulitzer Prize.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and we, so yeah, I was on my way.
So you knew you take a TV show, but you can also do movies on the side.
I didn't know that was going to work out that way, but I was hopeful.
What do you remember about St. Elsewhere now? Because that was a really influential show. Now we're in the era of like peak TV, and that was kind of the show for.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen it, and
So it's like all blur.
yeah, that's rearview mirror.
Is it true you are kind of a method actor when you are inhabiting a part? You get really into that part and there's shades of the character that cross over and you just go deep? Or can you shut it on?
Where'd you hear that from?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Celebrity
it
profiles.
sounds like something you heard around. Yeah.
I don't know. Do research. You're a hard guy to figure out. Everybody tries.
And that's okay. Why do I don't need to be figured out. In order to do what?
People like knowing more about
People
celebrities.
care less.
No, you're wrong on that.
Yeah, people can listen.
People care. I would say somebody like you've been in my life, since the early 80s, but I feel like people feel like they know you just from these movies. Like they feel like you're part of their life, like an uncle or something. You don't sense that?
No. Wait, I don't. Uncle Denzel.
Are you guys with me on this?
Uncle Denzel.
My staff was the most excited that you were coming on the podcast out of anybody. I mean, you have a lot of cachet.
Well, thank you.
You don't see it. You're just going from movie to movie.
Well, you're living your life. I'm not like I'm walking around with 100 people telling me that I'm, my doo-doo don't stink. You know what I mean? I'm living. I'm not living in some bubble where people talk to me about me or
right.
I'm just, I got to put the garbage out. I got things to get done.
At what point in your career did you feel like you could get any movie made, basically?
I'm waiting for that to happen.
Oh, come on.
I don't know. I don't think of it in those terms. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in what's good on the page. It's a good script, and I think it's something I can interpret. Then,
so what would be the checklist?
Are you number one? If it's a good script,
number one script. Number two, who's directing it, or do you worry about that later?
It depends. That sometimes because the director may be attached. Sometimes you. Well, no, even if the director's first, the script's always first. It's not like I go, oh, I want to work with, well, that's not true either. If Spielberg said, I want to work with you, then I'd say, okay.
You haven't worked with him yet, though, right?
No, he's never asked.
He's never asked?
No.
Come on, Spielberg. Who else have you not worked with? Have you worked with Leo?
DiCaprio?
Yeah.
Nah. I won't work with anyone with the name that ends with O.
Oh, that's one of your rules.
I haven't. Nobody's whose name ends Pacino, DiCaprio, De Niro.
Oh, that's right. You haven't done Pacino or De Niro either. Spielberg.
Scorsese. None of the O's have called. It's all right, though.
Well, you and Leo could do a Laker fan drama.
Oh, yeah.
It'd be a drama right now. Yeah. Let's take a quick break from this interview with one of the greatest actors of all time to talk about Audible. They're offering the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet, whether you're hiking, sunbathing, road tripping, enjoying downtime outdoors. Audible lets you fill your summer with more stories like Shoe Dog. My wife listens to Audible in the car when she's driving the kids around because they don't really read that many books because they're kids and they have video games and stupid things to do all day. So she forces them to listen to books. She just listened to Shoe Dog, the story of Phil Knight, with the kids in the car. And now they know a ton about Nike. This could be you. From right now until July 31st, Amazon Prime members can get Audible for $4.95 a month for the first 3 months. Get a credit for any audiobook in the store every month. And if you don't like the one you pick, you can exchange it with no hassle. Plus, your audiobooks are yours to keep forever, even if you cancel. Go to audible.com/BS or text BS to 500-500 to get started. That is Audible, AUDIBLE.com/BS or text BS to 500-500. Again, Amazon Prime members get Audible for $4.95 a month for the first 3 months. It's like getting 3 months for the price of one. After that, it's only $14.95 a month. The offer ends July 31st, 2018. And while we're here talking about things that the Simmons family uses, if you're like me and you're not so great at planning ahead, I've got some good news for you. Our friends at Hotel Tonight have an awesome app that help you find amazing hotel deals at the last minute. Book next week tonight or book next month tonight. Hotel Tonight. All it takes is 10 seconds, just 3 taps and a swipe. No long, endless lists of a zillion hotel choices. Hotel Tonight only shows you the best deals at the best hotels. Perfect whether you're a planner or you like to leave things to the very last minute. As you've heard me say many times, I've used it for multiple soccer tournaments in various parts of Southern California. I'm targeting August for the next time I use Hotel Tonight. It's going to happen. With Hotel Tonight's HT Perks program, the more you book, the better the deals get. Unlike other loyalty programs, where you're trapped into staying at boring chain hotels. That's not the case here. Start scoring amazing deals at incredible hotels. Download the Hotel Tonight app. Right now, back to the man who once played Jesus Shuttleworth's father, Denzel Washington. I do feel like the Lakers, they kind of stumbled into LeBron. You know, in some of the other eras, like Shaq, like Jerry West, like carved out cap space for him. You know, the Kobe they got, it was a really smart trade. And Wilt, West, Baylor, all that stuff. But this was the first one where he just wanted to live in LA, and it was a famous franchise, and it didn't really matter what was there last 5 years.
You think that's all it is?
What else do you think it is? Tell me.
Ask Magic.
Well, there's some Magic too.
Yeah, ask Magic. It's a little more than that. It's not just that.
Well, Magic as a mentor, I think, is part of it, right?
I think that's a part of it.
Yeah.
I think
I agree. And I think it seems like
and would be a wise decision I mean, obviously LeBron's doing all right, but
right.
Magic is a very wise, very smart businessman.
For where LeBron, this is why I thought it was going to happen for a year, where LeBron has wanted to go. And he's been pretty
where
clear
did you think he wanted to go?
I thought he was going to go to the Lakers. I've been saying it since
all
last
along.
summer. Yeah. Because it was the most logical move for the stages of what his career have been. And now it seems like he wants to be a billion dollar businessman. And who's better learning from the Magic?
Has left?
He's going into year 16, which like Magic played like 11 and a half or 12 and a half. Bird played like 13. Isaiah played like 14. Jordan on and off was like 15. And the stuff we see now with these 2010s athletes, I don't even know how to calculate it anymore. Like he was really good in year 15. Only Kareem has done that. You know, so I don't know how many is
stuff
left.
They do now. What's that?
Well, that's the
putting
thing.
himself in the ice cold,
the hyperbaric chambers.
All that stuff he does.
You needed that for He Got Game. You could have got
right
like
now.
3 more points.
I need it today. I need it tonight when I leave here.
The Equalizer 2, which I loved. I especially loved that he lived in Boston. But you have fight scenes in there, and it's a pretty physical movie. Like, how do you stay in shape now? At this
The
point
fight
in your
scenes
life,
help you, actually. You know, and the training that you do in preparation. I mean, we probably, I don't remember exactly how many months in advance we started training, but 2 to 3 days a week, you start training with the guys and learning the patterns. And, you know, it's physical.
Is it all? It's almost like dancing. You're remembering the patterns of the moves.
It is. But it's the as I grab my knee.
Yeah.
It's the twisting. It's things that you don't ordinarily do in a normal sport or repeat over and over and over.
Yeah.
It's not just like one take. If you're throwing one punch, you might have to do that 20 different times, 20 different ways, you know.
Well, I was impressed. You fended off a villain in the movie who's in the backseat who has a knife and a gun. And you just fended it off with the steering wheel, basically. It was like casually.
And that was a weekday. It's a weekday. You should have seen me on Friday. I got jokes over here. As you see, I got jokes. Right?
When they came to you with the sequel, were you like, I already did The Equalizer? How are we doing this different this time?
Todd Black is he's the producer and my producing partner. We've done a lot of films together. He developed The Equalizer for me. He said, just, you know, when I'm ready, I'm going to give you the script, and I'm telling you, this is the one you should do.
Yeah.
I said, all right, we'll see.
And that was it.
He, you know, when he handed it, I read it on a Friday. I called him. I said, when do you want to start? And, you know, we had good success, and here we are again.
Do you think about the balance when you're doing projects where it's like, I just did an action movie, I shouldn't do another one?
Absolutely. I just finished The Iceman Cometh on Broadway.
Yeah,
Eugene O'Neill.
I heard it was great.
So to go from, I was doing Eugene O'Neill last week. Now I'm talking about jumping off of buildings and kicking. But, you know, I like that. I like being challenged in different ways. And I love the theater. That's actually my first love, not movies.
What other actor has challenged you the most doing a project?
Not a competition.
No, but just somebody that you felt like, oh, man, I got to raise my game. Because when I had Ethan Hawke on my podcast, I would say 6 weeks ago, and he talked about, he loves you. He talked about you for a while, and he was like, the first day we did a scene, we did it in a diner, and Denzel was just, he had it going. And I felt like I was being blown off the camera for 10 minutes. It was like sink or swim, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me as an actor. I'm sure maybe that hasn't happened to you, but you must vibe with other actors differently, right?
I mean, I remember like working with Gene Hackman and just going, man, this is Gene. I'm in the scene with Gene Hackman.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
standing there looking at him, and they're shooting, and I'm going, that's Gene Hackman over there. Oh, shoot. You know.
But you get over that, I'm sure, at some point.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that was years ago.
It's got to be the same thing as basketball, right? Where you go into the league and you're like, oh, there's that guy. Oh, I can't believe I'm playing against this guy. And then eventually you become one of the guys.
Yeah.
And then everybody's looking at you.
Then you become.
Yeah, then.
Used to be one of the. Unfortunately for sports, it doesn't happen with acting. See, acting, you can see like an 80-year-old equalizer. Where's my teeth?
By the way, I'm in for that. If it's Equalizer 6,
I'll beat him with my teeth.
Yeah,
gum him to death.
You have a cane, just a cane with a little knife on the end or something.
That'll be the trailer. Equalizer 7. Huh? Then he just walks away.
Malcolm X is a movie that I don't know what's it been 26 years now, 1992.
Yeah.
I would say you know better than me, but probably the most difficult performance you've had because you had to play different incarnations as the movie went on.
Wasn't the most difficult. No.
What was the most difficult?
I don't look at it that way. Difficult.
Everything's a challenge.
Listen, this is just making movies. It's acting. It's not that difficult.
Well, Malcolm X was more than that, though.
I had done a play about Malcolm X in New York to tremendous success.
Early in your career, right?
Yeah, 10 years before we did the movie. And everyone said, you are never, people were coming out of the war. Muhammad Ali, everybody came through. Farrakhan, everybody came through. The Nation of Islam came through. Everyone, presidents, it was like a life-changing moment. I was
really?
Yeah. I remember sitting across the street from the theater, and it was like a 170-seat theater, 150-seat theater, and it's like 1,000 people a night trying to get in. And I was like, wow, my life is things are
Ali
changing.
wasn't waiting, though. Ali was just like, I'm coming in.
Yeah, he probably didn't have to wait.
Was he the most charismatic guy out of all the celebs?
He was one of the ones. I remember when I was very, very young, also in the business, I met Jimmy Stewart. I was so nervous to meet Jimmy Stewart. We were they used to have those shows at, Santa Monica Civic Auditorium or something.
Right.
One of those award shows. And Jimmy Stewart, I'm talking to Jimmy Stewart. And you just get that dumb, yes, sir.
Dude, how long? You must have started doing the late night shows pretty early, right? Like as soon as your career started to take off. When did you kind of figure out how to just turn it on for these little 5-6 minute stints? Like when you're going on, like,
you say turn it on, turn what on?
Well, you just got to go on, and you're just boom. I think you're really good at those late night things.
Well, just
do you have to rehearse stories, or do you roll up the person? You won't do that.
In fact, I asked not to do that.
I was going to say, I can't imagine you doing that. Yeah.
I mean, it's like me coming in here and we've already gone through all the questions. I don't want to know. You ask the question, I'll answer it.
I still have questions.
Oh, that's fine.
Remember the Titans?
I still have answers.
Remember the Titans?
No, I don't remember. I told you I got answers.
You've only done that one, and he got game for sports movies as far as I can tell, right? Am I forgetting something?
Hurricane.
Oh, Hurricane. Yeah.
Is that it?
I think that's it.
I remember the
I feel like
it's like every frustrated football coach and father. That was now I'm the coach, and I read the script, and we're going to win, and I know it.
That's a movie that
and I can say anything I want.
That's a movie that has legs, but also has legs in NBA arenas on the Jumbotron.
I'll tell you, here's a steal in that movie. I say to one of the kids, I said, "You're killing me, Petey. You're killing me." There's some footage from old NFL films, and there was a guy named Whitey, and one of the coaches or something yells, I said, "You're killing me, Whitey. You're killing me." I don't know what coach says that, but I actually stole it from watching one of those NFL film
shows. The NFL films with the music?
Yeah.
Your son is an actor now on Ballers. Did you know he was going to be an actor, or was that a surprise?
I knew he was talented.
Yeah.
But you never know what a kid wants to do, and he was pursuing football and got quite far, as far as the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah.
Yeah, so once I saw him up there, I was like, God, what have I done? Got this kid into this. I didn't know he was going to get that far.
Yeah.
I'm figuring, a little Pop Warner, an 8-year-old league, and then move on. But it was so violent. I was like, I couldn't believe how violent it was. I remember I called him. He was in training camp his rookie year. And he said, Dad, it's violence. I said, it's violent? He said, no, Dad, not violent. Violence. It's just violence. He said, I ran the other day, or I ran and nobody's feet were on the ground. He said, everybody was flying, trying to get a job. You know, you got 200 guys trying to get 40-something jobs. So he used to get like, well, what are you doing out here? You know, your dad's this. So that was his chip on his shoulder.
Right.
Oh, he hated
Proving
that.
them wrong.
Oh, he hated it. He wanted to break your leg for saying that.
That usually goes the wrong way. That's actually a good way. That's good that it went that way. What were you like as a sports parent? What were you like in the stands?
You know what I was like. Exactly what. Get a ball. Give him the ball.
Yeah.
Go. Give him the ball. Give it to my son.
You probably could have intimidated the coaches.
Good.
Did he play hoops too or no?
Yeah, he played a little basketball. His brother was a little better at basketball. In fact, they won the whole championship, but his brother had a good team. He played with the kid that made the Lakers, Darius Morris.
Oh yeah,
Darius Morris and my son Malcolm were the two starting guards for their high school team, and they won the state championship.
Do you other than Laker games, do you go to sporting events or you stay away?
Not so much lately.
MSG Knicks?
When my kids were playing,
Yeah.
then you're going. You know.
MSG Knicks, or you're waiting until they get good again?
Just say again.
The Knicks.
Well, I haven't seen them.
You're staying away.
I just.
I bet you were there for Ewing and Oakley and all those guys.
No, I was out. I was here. I was living out here then. So I mean, I was following them.
Yeah.
And hoping that Jordan would get sick or something. That's all you could do was hope he got sick so somebody else could win.
But you were friends with him though, right?
No, we're not. I mean, I met him.
There's a story I heard that he gave you and Ray Allen the only Air Jordan. No, you and Spike Lee the only Air Jordan 13s on the set he got game, and Ray Allen didn't have them. That's on the internet. Yeah. I don't know if that's true.
I wonder if I still have them.
Well, I think they were like the early preview ones.
I don't know.
No?
I don't know about that one.
They're in the closet
I have some.
somewhere.
I do have some I have some brand new ones in there.
They might be in the closet
somewhere.
somewhere.
I have some new ones that I've never worn.
So what's next for you?
Dinner.
What are your next projects?
I don't know. Actually. I'm unemployed. You got something?
You're unemployed?
I'm unemployed.
So we need to come up with a movie for you?
I'm going to be a sports announcer for the Celtics. What do you think?
I think it's either a sports announcer or a basketball coach. You did the football coach. Now do the basketball coach who's from a different generation, who doesn't really understand where this league is going, and these guys are too selfish.
I like that. Keep going.
Back in my day.
Right.
Yeah, but then now there's a new prodigy.
We're going to call it that too.
Back in my day. Yeah, you're just telling people, back in my day, we didn't put up with this bullshit, and then the new prodigy comes
That's what my son says. Dad, anybody I bring up, he ain't no good. Who is a bum? Dad, he led the league in scoring. He's lucky. Never happened again, did it?
Who are your favorite players to watch now other than LeBron?
Kawhi. My youngest son, Malcolm, played on this team, Windward, and as I said with Darius, and they won the state championship. And they
Windward in L.A.?
Windward?
Oh yeah,
yeah. He played.
Yeah, we know Windward. That's my daughter's school. Is right near there.
Right there?
That's a great sports school.
Yeah. What school? Right.
She goes to the Willows, which is right next to there. Yeah.
What was I saying? Oh, and they had a game, and there was a second game, and it was a school called King Riverside.
Yeah.
That was playing a team, I think, from Atlanta. And I remember it because that night they said, there's a young man who's playing tonight. His father had been killed. So we had a moment of silence for him. And the kid's name was Kawhi Leonard. And he had about 29 points and 27 rebounds.
Oh my God.
And I figured, oh wow, this kid's inspired by, losing his dad, and what a game. And no one knew, oh no, he'll be able to do that for the next 20 years.
Yeah, seriously.
It was quiet, very quiet. I remember he was just very shy.
Oh, now he's so loud now.
Yeah. Kawhi Leonard. I think it was King Riverside he played for.
Him and LeBron together would be really interesting, because I think Kawhi loves being on good teams, but doesn't want kind of the burden of being the night-to-night star and the voice of the team. Like when when you're in a good team, you also have to be the voice of it to some degree and be the public face of it. I don't think he wants any of that. I think he just wants to play
They get
hoops.
shooters though.
They do. I didn't like their
Golden
signings.
State shoots threes from half court all night.
I know.
So it doesn't matter how well you score 2-point baskets. If they're scoring three,
19-year-old you would not have liked this era of NBA of bombing 25-footers. Nobody goes to the hole anymore.
yeah, nobody goes to home anymore. That's true.
Do you like the 3-point or the 2-point era more? Just as a fan, because some people
That's a good
love the way
question.
they play it now.
It seems more open now.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, when you look back at some of the old, you know,
it's very cluttered.
it's very cluttered
Yeah.
and, you know, slow. And it was an inside out. The game truly now is outside in. It's not inside out. I mean, you look at what's happened just and I'm not knocking him, but in the time that Dwight Howard's been in the league.
Yeah,
It's gone from an inside out league to an outside, to where he has no position.
he has no position. By the way, it's okay to knock Dwight Howard.
He's out.
The thing that was the hardest thing for me to adjust to this decade was fast breaks with the guys on the wings going out instead of toward the basket.
Right.
And I still am not totally used to it. And that's just how everyone. And then if you go and you watch high school now, that's what they do.
That's
in high
what they're
school.
doing? Yeah.
Because remember the old 11-man drill where it's just like 3-on-2
Right.
constantly, and all of it was about trying to get layups. And now I think 11-man, they just veer to the corners.
Right.
Jack up threes.
Right.
I would make threes illegal until like 10th grade if I was this sports czar. Don't even take them. Learn how to play without the three until you're 16. Then you can jack them up for the rest of your life. If you want.
And dads would start putting their kids in AAU teams and not playing in high school.
Yeah, that's true. I'd have to do it for AAU too. Although AAU has bigger problems, I think.
Well, are they having problems now, AAU teams?
Well, yeah, I think it's, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm out of all of that.
Not a huge fan of the AAU. So when you go to these games, do the players talk to you during the games? Like you're sitting courtside or wherever you're sitting.
Usually,
do they seek you out and talk to you?
No, not seek me out. I'll excuse me. It depends upon when I get there. But, you know, you get the
nod?
Yeah, you get the, you know, I'm busy right now, D. I can't act like a fan, you know, especially the other teams. You know, they come to town. You get to,
right.
You know, it's all good.
And that's it? Nobody talks shit to you from the other team? You've never had a Spike Lee, Reggie Miller moment?
Spike's, no, he's a willing participant. He loves talking. You know, I went to the game with him. I'm like, man, sit down. Sit down, man. He's a fan. I tell you what, though.
I liked his book.
They love him in New York, man.
Oh, yeah.
We left the Garden. I'm like, where's the car? He's like, car, we're going to go get the train. And they love Spike.
How many times you worked with him? 4? Inside Band, Mo Better Blues, Malcolm X, He Got Game.
Is that it?
Yeah. So you guys are due.
Call him up. Tell him. Don't tell me.
One
tell
more.
him.
You got to do an NBA one. You have to. You got to do one basketball one.
About how the Knicks beat the hell out of the Celtics. Don't get quiet now.
That would be, but that's the thing.
That would be a science fiction movie.
That would be a movie.
A fantasy movie,
yeah.
right?
The only way that would happen is in a movie. The funny thing is the Knicks have been really terrible for 70 years.
What's wrong?
When you think about 2 titles in 70 years, it's the biggest city in the world. All the players that have come out of there, they were first. It's kind of impossible. I think they made the finals like 4 times.
You know, and now destinations don't mean what they doesn't mean anything. You know, maybe LA because of the entertainment industry a bit more for those like a LeBron or somebody that's interested.
Yeah, he's
in
pretty
that.
unique though.
Yeah, he's unique.
I think 2 things that changed this decade the most. One was the player empowerment and the players just flipping the switch, and the players are now in control of the league in a way that we've never seen. The other one is it doesn't really seem to matter where they play. Like Westbrook is one of the 4 most popular guys in the league, and he's in Oklahoma City. You know?
Yeah, but he's a beast. He's unique.
Yeah.
We want to see him.
Right.
I mean, we don't get to see that many Milwaukee home games.
With Giannis.
That's what I'm saying. You don't.
But when Giannis gets there, I think you'll see Giannis.
Yeah.
I just think about what it was like when I was growing up. Like I saw the Iceman George Gervin like 7 times in my life. You know, like 3 times in Boston and 4 times on TV. And that was my experience with him unless they made the playoffs. I don't know. I'm jealous of all the people now. They just basketball at their fingertips. You want to talk Yankees Red Sox?
23, 24, 25. How we doing this year? I'll tell you this.
You need pitching. That's how you're doing.
No, I'm in Boston. Fenway is one of the most beautiful parks.
Thank you.
You know, when I went, I was the first Equalizer. I went to a game, and I realized why they call those parks ballparks.
Yeah.
Wrigley Field. No, not Wrigley.
Wrigley Field.
Cubs play. Yeah, Wrigley Field. Who else has a ballpark?
It's really
Fenway
those
Park.
two.
No, isn't another?
Camden Yards is kind of like that, I guess.
There's another old one.
Pac Bell is newer, but
old. No, it's another old one.
no, they got rid of all of them.
Yeah,
They're all
Candlestick.
I'm actually sad they got rid of Yankee Stadium. I know they made the facsimile robot Yankee Stadium, but
Right.
I don't know. I like the old one. The sitting in the third deck where it's like when you walk down, you might just fall over and fall to your death. Like it was harrowing up there.
I was in Chicago one year doing, I think I was going to do the Oprah Winfrey show, and we rode past Wrigley Field. So I told the driver, pull over.
Yeah.
And the guy was out there. I said, sir, he said, yeah, come on in, Denzel. Everybody always wants to come in. You want to see the Ivy, don't you? I'm like, yeah. So I ran in. Now I'm running around. I didn't slide. There's nobody in there but me and the guy that's opened the gate. And I'm running around. I'm bouncing into the Ivy. You know, you're a kid. But what tripped me out was how small the dugouts were.
Yeah.
And they're like little tiny.
Everyone was tiny back then.
I guess.
Everyone was like
dugouts
5'8".
were little and funky.
Yeah.
Little funky dugouts.
Fenway is one of those things when you walk in, it really is genuinely amazing.
It's magic. Yeah.
You see that wall and it's like, oh my God,
Green
this is like a
monster.
sports movie. I'm excited the Red Sox Yankees rivalry is back. Because I think it got really fun there during the Pedro Manny versus Jeter and all those guys era. And then it kind of slowed down. And now this year, there's a lot of talent on both sides.
Good. Baseball needs it. Sports needs it.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about baseball. We've been talking about that on my podcast.
Has it been going down?
The attendance is going down. I think with people under 30 who are now, it's the whole ADD generation. And it's
too
just
slow, huh?
It's too slow. And I don't know how you fix it. Basketball is like perfect. Even soccer's really gained steam. You know,
That's
people are really into
interesting.
the World Cup. Like, I never thought that would happen. But baseball's, it seems that the demo is getting older and older. It's in that Equalizer 6.
And you know, because they're not neighborhood teams like they used to, you know, there's not as much of the local fan base that's going to go all the time to go see their Yankee, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's expensive.
It's expensive. It's super expensive.
Got to pay
Was
for
it $200
parking.
a day? Or
No, it's friggin' expensive. And you got to pay for the parking. It's 6 hours.
$10 hot dogs?
I think one of the things that ruined it, though, is the TVs are nicer. And I can watch the Red Sox at home on a nice TV in the HD. And it's like, why do I need to do the game?
I remember
I'm
one
right
year,
here.
I went to a World Series game at Yankee Stadium. And the place, I don't know, this is the old Yankee Stadium, and it holds 75,000, but there must have been 120,000 people in there. There wasn't one cop or fireman working in New York City. It was like Game 6 of the World Series. And you couldn't move. Every cop, every fireman, everybody was in uniform.
Yeah.
They all came because they can get it for free. It was crazy.
Standing room only.
Yeah, it was standing room only. It was so New York.
Is your base California or New York?
California, but at home, both places.
Yeah, you mix it up. All right. This was fun.
My pleasure.
Good
man.
luck on the movie.
Thank you.
I'm glad the guy was based in Boston. That really meant a lot to me. I'm glad we finally got you and something. Thanks for coming up. Before we go, I wanted to call my friend Nathan Hubbard to talk about the Yacht Rock concert at the Hollywood Bowl on Saturday night. Yacht Rock's on Channel 70 on Sirius. I DJ'd for them a summer ago, and some are saying it was the greatest hour guest DJ stint anyone's ever had on Sirius. I don't know if that's true. That's just what people were saying. We're going to talk about Yacht Rock with Nathan in a second. But first, becoming a successful business owner doesn't just happen. It takes hard work, and you really can't afford to let anything get in your way. When it comes to all the details and regulations, you need someone that has your back. That someone is LegalZoom.com. LegalZoom was created 17 years ago with a mission to help all Americans confidently and competently navigate the legal system. Since then, over 1 million people have trusted LegalZoom for business formation. But your relationship with LegalZoom hardly ends there. LegalZoom put together a network of independent attorneys licensed in every state, available to answer your questions, provide legal advice for your business without billing by the hour. Because as a business owner, you have enough to worry about without getting bogged down by legal stuff. For that, there's LegalZoom.com. Go to LegalZoom.com now. Use promo code BS at checkout for special savings. LegalZoom, where life meets legal. LegalZoom.com. And since we're here, let's talk about our friends at Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, America's premier home purchase lender. Hey, when you're buying a home, it could be one of the most important purchases you'll ever make. But today's fluctuating interest rates can leave you with higher payments, turning a great experience into an anxious one. That's why Quicken Loans created their exclusive power buying process. They check your income, assets, and credit to give you a verified approval so you have the strength of a cash buyer. Once verified, you qualify for their exclusive Rate Shield approval. They'll lock your interest rate down for 90 days, up to 90 days. If rates go up, your rate stays the same. If rates go down, you get to keep the lower rate. Either way, you win. To get started, go to rocketmortgage.com/Bill Simmons. Rate Shield approval only valid on certain 30-year purchase transactions. Additional conditions or exclusions may apply based on Quicken Loans data in comparison to public data records. Data. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLS, consumeraccess.org, number 3030. All right, we're calling my friend Nathan. All right, on the line right now, Ringer intern Nathan Hubbard, who long storied music career. He's been on this podcast many times. Where he wasn't on Saturday was at the Hollywood Bowl for what could best be called the Yacht Rock reunion concert. I went with my wife. I didn't know about it until the night before. I love Yacht Rock. It's channel 70 on Sirius. I ride or die with Yacht Rock. I feel like Michael McDonald is the key person in Yacht Rock. It was Christopher Cross, Kenny Loggins, and Michael McDonald. So I called you on Friday. Other than you're trapped on the East Coast on a family summer vacation. I don't know what the hell you're doing. But what was your reaction when you heard this was the last stop for the Yacht Rock tour and you were going to miss out completely?
What casino is Christopher Cross going to play the next night?
I think that's actually true. He is playing casinos.
He is. All three of them went back to the casino circuit the very next night, independently.
I will tell you that Hollywood Bowl was packed to the gills. How many does it hold? Like 18,000, 20,000?
Yes, 20.
I might have been my wife was like the 7th youngest person there. I was like the 10th youngest person there. It was bougie, old LA people. And it was glorious. It was everything I wanted. It started out with Christopher Cross came out, and he needs backup singers now to hit some of the key notes to his classics. What I respected was he only played 4 songs. He basically had 4 hits, right? Banged out the 4 hits, and that was
Never
it.
Be the Same, Sailing, Arthur's Theme, and Ride Like the Wind.
Yeah.
And Let's Hit the Craps Table. Yes.
Comes out. Seemed relatively sad, but also happy because he was playing in in front of a whole bunch of people. He was a massive musical artist, I would say, about 36 years ago, and the Sailing has really been the iconic Yacht Rock song, I would say. So, saves.
Listen, Christopher is the guy. Video killed the radio star. That is Christopher Cross.
Right.
Like he has a body built for radio. He has a voice built for radio. And the video era just filleted him. He just could not get over the hump.
Yeah, he looks like a pit boss at not even a casino in Vegas, like in the outskirts, like in Prim, Nevada. He's like the night shift pit boss. That's the vibe that he had. But I'll tell you this. After he played the first 3, actually the third one I think was Sailing, and the 60-plus-year-old guy next to me, the riffs of Sailing start, and the guy goes, "Here we go," very excitedly. It was pretty great. But so after Sailing does Ride Like the Wind, and he's like, "I'd like to introduce my good friend Michael McDonald." And McDonald comes out, the crowd goes crazy. Michael McDonald, it's been a while since the glory days. It's been about 36, 37 years?
I disagree with you. I think he's the best. But what was the problem? He's looking rough. He's sounding rough.
Does not look rough. He oversins now a little bit.
Yeah,
that way he
sort of plays the character a little bit.
Yeah, he's definitely like really belting it out. He's kind of singing out of the side of his mouth now, like Sly Stallone. He's still eating the microphone.
He's putting his gut into it now, which he didn't always have to do.
But it was still great. So he comes out. They do Ride Like the Wind. Crowd goes nuts. He leaves. Change. Kenny Loggins comes out, who is somewhere between 70 and 90. I don't know the exact age. Looks fantastic. I don't know if he had work done, but if he did, congrats.
He looks like Lee Greenwood now. He's had so much work done.
And I'll tell you, great stage presence still. And the ladies love Kenny Loggins. And, as you point out, well, do your riff about his 80s hits.
Well, so Kenny, I have two riffs. One is that Kenny is the only guy who really went from the soft, wussy, like 70s, like pre-yacht rock singer-songwriter to dead in the middle of leading the yacht rock parade to actually making it into bona fide 80s music. And that's something we need to talk about is what actually made the transition. House at Pooh Corner was 1971. This Is It was 1979, and Danger Zone was 86. There's almost nobody who actually put out hits that long and survived the three whitest eras in American music. So good on him. But the craziest thing about Kenny
did you mention Footloose?
Exactly, because he had three hits for three of the greatest 80s movies ever, right? Caddyshack, Footloose, Top Gun. I don't know that there's anyone in the history of music who's written, besides John Williams with the Star Wars stuff, nobody's written three massive hit songs for three massive, huge movies like that, ever.
He also, I have a vague memory of This Is It being the theme song of the 1980 Winter Olympics. Is that possible?
I don't know. The Russians
no.
Probably
this is Lake Placid. No, this is the one we won.
Yeah, exactly. But the Russians, that the hockey memory takes over for me. I can't remember Kenny Loggins.
So he came out, he sang a couple old school 70s songs, moved into the yacht rock era a little. And at this point, I'm really focused on a Stevie Nicks introduction. Right?
Because you want her to show up.
Yeah, and Whenever I Call You Friend, I think is one of the best 10 to 12 yacht rock songs ever.
Stevie's not coming within 20 square miles of that gig. He does not want to be locked in.
I wonder if they even performed that song though, because I think there's some bitterness about it was supposed to be somebody else, and at the last second that person couldn't do it, and Stevie got brought in, and maybe they cut her out of the royalties, or maybe she got a bad deal.
You're telling me Stevie has a beef with a fellow musician? I'm shocked.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. She probably put a curse on Kenny Loggins. So anyway, they didn't sing that.
And Lindsey Buckingham.
Oh, the list can keep going. She turned 70 recently, by the way. Happy birthday to Stevie. I still want you on my podcast. So instead of introducing Stevie, he introduces his good friend Michael McDonald, who comes back out and sings This Is It. And I got to say, it was great. And I just don't know if anyone has ever just kind of come in as the backup Robert Horry / type on songs better than Michael McDonald, with the possible exception of Nate Dogg. Is there anyone else you can think of?
He is the greatest backup singer of all time. There is an awesome SCTV sketch where Rick Moranis plays Michael McDonald doing the backup part on Ride Like the Wind.
Yeah.
YouTube it, where he just runs in off the street out of his Oldsmobile and just gets in the studio in time to sing that part and then blazes off to his next thing. He is the greatest backup singer of all time. And it is shown as well in the Grizzly Bear tune, While You Wait for the Others, where they brought him in 4 years ago to sing backup on that song, and then they talked him in for the B-side to singing the actual lead track, and it is badass. It is one of the best recordings that I've heard in the 2010s. Go listen to it.
I left out the crowd at this thing, not just the age of the crowd, but the people who were a little bit younger who were there. I was kidding when I said I was in the top 10. There were people in their 30s and 40s there.
Come on.
There was a lot of yacht captain hats. People were dressed up like yacht people. They were, what are those white yacht caps that people wear? What are those called?
I imagine that it was like a Trump rally, except progressive people in white hats instead of red hats.
Yeah, it was a liberal Trump rally. The people were wearing the blue blazers with the white polos and the hats, and really
Did they get there in
into
time for Christopher for Cross, or was it so sad he was playing to an empty Hollywood Bowl?
No. People were there. It said it started at 7, but it really started at 8. So Kenny killed it.
That's like what you tell your grandfather for Thanksgiving dinner, so he
Sure.
shows up 15 minutes late.
Well, Pete, you can bring your own food when it's a Hollywood Bowl sanctioned event. So a lot of people brought like their own wine and food and stuff like that.
Highest Chablis consumption per capita of any event of the year at the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah, you bring in your own edibles, whatever floats your boat.
So
So
here's the thing. Here's the other thing that we need to talk about with Yacht Rock. So when Anthony Bourdain died, did you see Questlove's playlist?
yes, it was like
So he
600
made
songs.
600, right? Because he was in the kitchen with Bourdain one time. Bourdain was playing Billy Joel, or Billy Joel came on and Bourdain banned it. He's like, I don't know Yacht Rock in the kitchen. First of all, is Billy Joel Yacht Rock?
No,
Question number one.
no.
But number two, when Bourdain died, Questlove made a 600-song, what he called Yacht Rock playlist, designed to posthumously convince Bourdain that Yacht Rock is really awesome. And first of all, when Questlove is carrying the torch for Yacht Rock, you know it's for real. But that playlist contains everything from like Bonnie Raitt, I Can't Make You Love Me,
That's not Yacht Rock.
to all the way back to like Michael Jackson Rock With You. So Questlove has a very, very broad definition of what Yacht Rock is. Mine would be significantly narrower. I don't think Billy Joel makes it.
No, God, no. I did this when I did the guest DJ stint. So the people that actually created the phrase yacht rock have an even a thinner definition of it. Mine's a little looser. For me, it's like, first of all, it has to be able to be played on a boat. I think is the number one thing. If it doesn't make sense on a boat, and not a boat that's going like 60 miles an hour, but like it's kind of cruising, it's heading back toward the dock. Everyone's on their second bottle of wine. You're not sure if the guy driving it might actually crash into the dock on his way there. And the sweet
Basically
soothing,
a typical Saturday for you.
yeah, and the sweet soothing sounds of Michael McDonald are kind of playing
Yeah.
as everybody's just kind of hoping the guy can get the boat in the dock without knocking the dock over. That's
Right.
one. Two is I feel like McDonald has to be in every 3 to 3.5 songs.
Right.
So if it's like a Yacht Rock 2-hour marathon, and three more than 3 songs go by without Michael McDonald, somebody's done something wrong.
So
And then
With
wait,
Hall and
hold
Oates-
on, one more, third
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference between 70s soft rock and the 70s singer-songwriter rock and yacht rock.
Yeah.
You know, and the people that run the yacht rock station, God bless them,
They
fucking
know.
Air Supply is not yacht rock. It's
No.
just not.
No.
Simon and Garfunkel is not yacht rock. Billy Joel's
No.
not yacht rock. We have 70s soft rock as a category for those people. That's not yacht rock.
Rupert Holmes, Escape, Pina Colada. That Pina Colada song, that is Yacht Rock.
And the other terrible Rupert Holmes song, the phone line song, whatever that song is.
Yeah.
What song is that? That song's yacht rock. Bad songs have to be considered yacht rock too. But you know, the funny thing with there's more Michael McDonald songs that don't even really get thrown into the yacht rock mix like they should. Like I Gotta Try and One Step Closer, like some of those Doobie Brothers. To me, the iconic yacht rock performance is on YouTube. It is the Doobie Brothers farewell concert in San Diego. They did 2 of them.
Farewell before we do our next farewell tour.
Well, this is when in the early 80s when somebody said it was a farewell concert. And then
Yeah. The Irving Azoff method for making bands lots of money.
we actually thought it was the last time we'd see these people, not knowing that they would be back a year later. This is what U2 should have been doing since 2005. But this concert, I think Michael McDonald might actually be wearing a white linen shirt. And he's just banging out, and there's all the doobies there and backup singers, and it is absolutely extraordinary. And unfortunately for me, when he came out for this concert on Saturday, like, you know, he's at a different stage of his career. This is something you and I have argued about a lot, whether it's worth it to see your idols well after their prime. You know, like if you offered me the choice to see Larry Bird and Magic Johnson play basketball right now, I would go, but I would be disappointed because they're old men at this point. But if they played right now and they were 50 to 60% as good as they were in their peaks, that actually might be worth it as an experience. And I think the closest thing we have to this with sports is golf. Like when my dad and I went to the Masters, we went to the par 3 and Jack Nicholson and Gary Player and Tom Watson were all playing together and they all birdied this par 3 and it was awesome. That's the only sport where that can happen. You are more forgiving with older people continuing to play music. It doesn't bother you as much, right?
Well, because at this point they're basically just playing to a backup track, right?
Yeah.
Like Paul McCartney shows are still awesome, even though he's like 80.
Yeah.
That said, I'm not sure that I want to go see the Elton John, Last Farewell tour because I don't think Elton can sing anymore.
And hasn't been able to for 20 years.
Mail it in. And I watched 3 hours of Periscopes of the Friday and Saturday night Yacht Rock shows. So I'm with you that Michael doesn't totally have his voice, but he's still, he was still bringing fire throughout that entire show.
Yeah, he brings the energy. I agree.
Yeah, and certainly like more than Kenny and Christopher Cross can sing. So I'm still in on Michael McDonald.
I'm still in too. I think I had spent so much time in the late 70s and early 80s with them. You forget that people are now 35 years older. It is interesting though. I think Billy Joel has kept his voice the most of all the people that we grew up with. He
cheats a little bit though. In concert, he like transcribes pieces lower. He's playing them now in much lower keys.
Well, that's the move.
Try to fool you.
That's what Michael McDonald was doing too. The lower stuff he could really hit. The higher stuff that you really have to belt out was having a little trouble with.
He now either has to transcribe it down or punch himself in the balls for 3 hours before the show.
He did not play "You Belong to Me." I think that the girl he wrote that about might have sued him or something. Who knows?
My favorite part was that he came out and said, "Tonight we're going to dedicate this to love because love lasts forever." And then 2 songs later, he played "I Keep Forgetting We're Not in Love Anymore."
That's the thing. And this is why I want to do the podcast with him so badly. I want to know if it was one person who completely destroyed him emotionally or whether it was a variety of women. But this is a guy who wrote, "Minute by minute, I'll be holding on. What a fool believes. I keep forgetting we're not in love anymore. I can let go now." It was whoever destroyed him in almost apocalyptic way.
Well, I thank them profusely because it has enhanced my musical enjoyment over the past however many years he's been singing.
So here is the best moment of the night, and I don't know if the audience agreed with me, but he has a song called "I Can Let Go Now." And if you ever watched China Beach, anybody? China Beach, late 80s show, Dana Delaney? No?
Dana Delaney.
It had this unbelievable season finale where the characters are all like 30 years older and they go to the wall in Vietnam to see the names and they just do the whole Michael McDonald song. And hold on, I'm finding the lyrics. I know you know the lyrics, but so they're playing. He's playing on Saturday night. He's got the orchestra. He's got the Hollywood Bowl Orchestra. And this song actually is an orchestra kind of song. And the lyrics go, I'm going to read you the whole lyrics. I don't care if the audience is either turned off. It was so right. It was so wrong. Almost at the same time. This is a guy in deep, deep pain. The pain and ache a heart can take, no one really knows. When the memories cling and keep you there till you no longer care and you can let go now. Oh, Kyle's welling up. It's wrong for me to cling to you. Somehow I just needed time. From what was to be, it's not like me to hold somebody down. But here we go. Here's the key part. But I was tossed high by love. I almost never came down. Only to land here where love's no longer found, where I'm no longer bound. And I can let go now. And then that's it. It's an emotional song. He plays this in front of 20,000 people with the orchestra.
Wearing captain's hats.
And almost all of them are like, what the fuck's going on right now? And then there was a select few like me was like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I can't believe he's going here. I still think he's thinking about that lady. Whoever the I Can Let Go Now lady. I think when Facebook came around in 2006, 2007, he probably friended her
he
And
reconnected with.
Yeah, maybe there are a couple DMs back and forth, and now he's just monitoring her Facebook, even though she's like in her mid 50s, living in Monterey, or mid 60s. But amazing moment. I wish you were there for that one. I think you would have liked it.
I wish I was there for the whole thing, but thank God for technology. I watched every song both nights on the internet, so I was with you in spirit.
So it ended with "What a Fool Believes," the iconic isn't even a strong enough word, Doobie Brothers song, and one of the Yacht Rock pinnacle songs.
And he kicked a verse to Kenny.
Kicks a verse to Kenny. Kenny comes out and tries to bring the energy. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey, here's Christopher Cross. And he came out. And it was a Yacht Rock jam. It was a Yacht Rock orgy. And that's how we ended the concert.
They didn't give him a verse, right? They just gave him a guitar solo.
They gave him a guitar solo and some extra cash. They gave him like $40.
Yeah.
Extra to come
Cross
out.
Is, unfortunately, he's like the guy in Beavis and Butthead who always wore the wing shirt, or like Merman in the He-Man cartoon. He's the guy that nobody really wanted to hang out with, but knew a little bit too much about music, and so we let him hang around.
Poor Christopher
I feel
Cross.
so bad for Christopher.
So this is what I realized at this concert, because they filled it to the gills, 20,000 people. And I actually got tickets on SeatGeek, because I found out 24 hours before the concert, this is where SeatGeek really shines. And, you know, there were no tickets. So what I'm thinking is, I don't know what is stopping Yacht Rock Palooza at this point. There's more people, right? Robert Palmer can come and sing his two songs, and we could bring back.
Now you're out over your skis.
No,
Rupert Holmes. It's called Yacht Rock because of Southern California sailing culture, and you just saw a show in Southern California where the artists went back to playing 2,000 seat or 1,500 seat casinos the next night.
But this thing, I'm going the other way. I'm thinking big. I'm thinking we get like 12, 13 of these acts together, and it's like a 6-hour jam. You do it at the Hollywood Bowl, then you do it in San Diego, you do it in Monterey. You just go like a 4. Oh, but by the way, you're not going to that? You're not going to that.
I'm going to that, but I think it's just you and me.
No, it's not.
Bottles of Chardonnay.
No.
Think about like how hard would the announcer have to work for that concert? It's like Eric Carman, Rupert Holmes, Starland Vocal Band, one night only.
First of all, you're just being a tough guy right now. You would be at Yacht Rock Palooza in 5 seconds.
No, I am going to be there. I'm just suggesting it's not the best business model for the promoter.
Are we inviting Toto to Yacht Rock Palooza?
Toto is absolutely in. Toto was the last great yacht rockers. I think the cutoff is Michael Jackson's Thriller album, which came out in November of 1982. Toto came out. Toto's Africa album, which is 100% yacht rock, came out like 2 months before that. That was the last great yacht rock album. Michael Jackson's Thriller album changed music. Everything after is 80s music as far as I'm concerned.
Are we inviting Hall & Oates?
Yes. You Make My Dreams is number 2 or 3 on the list of yacht rock songs, behind, of course, every Michael McDonald song.
One on One, Rich Girl, Sarah Smile.
Yes. They're all in. But Peter Cetera singing Glory of Love? No. That's
not
music.
in. That's 80s music. Oh, hold on. Chuck Mangione just RSVP'd. He's available.
I can't imagine.
What about Player? Baby, Come Back.
Yeah. They're in.
See,
you know.
Listen, if
Supertramp not invited, I think of them as 70s music.
If anyone listening who has the power to do this, to put a concert like this together, if they're listening, I'm just telling you, the audience is there.
The only person who could do it is Michael McDonald, obviously, because they all come through.
You know, I will say Danger Zone, pretty good.
The Kanye of the late 70s.
Danger Zone, pretty good in concert, by the way.
You can't dance to it. I couldn't believe he didn't close with it until because he did I'm All Right, then Danger Zone, then he closed with Footloose, and I was like, what? Danger Zone's a bigger song. But then I saw him on stage, and man, the geriatric moves to Danger Zone just did not work. I'm glad he closed with Footloose, so he could at least do the little dance on stage. Live, you gotta finish with Footloose.
The other classic for me was the people next in the little box next to us who brought Sea Smoke and Silver Hill and just brought like all these A-list wine bottles and started talking to us. And the guy confessed to us that in 1985, he did tequila shots with Kenny Loggins at the Grammys. It's great. What else would I want from a night out with my wife than stories like that and the sight of Christopher Cross? It was really magical. I wish you had gone.
I am so mad that I didn't, and next time I need to know more than 24 hours before a show.
Yeah. All right. So Yacht Rock Channel 70. I am available for Labor Day yet again. I'll even bring Nathan as my co-host, and we can bang out. And we want to do 2 hours this time, not one. Don't skimp us out with 1 hour. We're ready for 2 this time. I want to do 20 Yacht Rock songs.
Questlove has a 600-song playlist. Yeah. We can do 2 hours.
Yeah. By the way, if you invite Questlove over us, that's your fault. He's going to play Billy Joel and Peter Cetera, Power of Love, and all that stuff. Yeah,
Michael. He's going to play Eddie Money. It's going to be terrible.
Questlove, you don't know anything about Yacht Rock. Here's where the Yacht Rock experts are right here. Nathan Hubbard, enjoy your vacation. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, both.
All right. Thanks to Nathan. Thanks to Denzel. Thanks to ZipRecruiter. Don't forget to try them out at ZipRecruiter.com/BS. Don't forget to go to TheRinger.com. We premiered the Ringers 11 trailer today. Oh, yeah. New movie coming out, The Ringers 11. And also the best movie trailers of the last 30 years. You can vote right now on the bracket that we put up. Back later in the week with more. Until then.
So